Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Roam Show. And recently, about a week or so ago, I had a bunch of trees trimmed. Some of the trees were getting very, very close to my antennas. So I was happy to get that done. Unfortunately, they weren't as meticulous as I wanted, and they did damage a couple of my antennas. And I've been slowly repairing them and moving them as much as I could. I can't get on the roof anymore, so I have to do everything from the ground. So, for instance, my loop antenna, which I'm using right now, was surrounded by tree limbs. And typically, the leaves and everything, when they're dry, don't give you a problem. But of course in Florida we get a lot of rain, and therefore the limbs and leaves are wet, which I believe does affect somewhat reception. So anyway, I thought I would do a little testing of the antennas, and for instance compare down here in the workshop, my two best antennas. Now I'm using the SDR Play DX, RSP DX for this test, and I'm using SDR console for a test equipment. And what do I mean by that? Well, one of the many options in SDR console that I don't know that any other ones have, maybe they do, maybe they don't, is this little signal history down here, which gives you the signal strength, a signal strength graph over time. And you get to it by going to view, and right here is where you turn it on and off, signal history. And then it pops up down here on the bottom. I can turn it off, and my frequency database, which is behind it, shows up. Turn it back on, there it is. And then you can enable it or disable it with this button here, and then you can restart it, clear it and restart it. And finally there's a couple of options. Here's the options. You can change the buffer length. It defaults to 1 hour. You can change it back down to minutes, or you can change it up to a maximum of 48 hours. And so it will record that, and then you can save it. So let's don't change that. Also, you can change the speed at which it's taking samples. I've got it on slower right now. Let me just speed it up. I'll go to fast and watch down here. See, now it's really zipping along, recording a lot of data very quickly. It's taking samples. So I like slower better. And then you can show as an option the the noise floor, which is down here. Turn it on and off. And then you can export the file to a database, a CSV database, for instance. Include frequency, database, all these kinds of options. Okay, let's close this. So what I can do now is, this is taking samples real slow. I can switch now between, for instance, my loop antenna, which is on right now, and my vertical antenna. Now I just happen to be on Radio Martini, pretty good signal right now at 7:40 in the morning here in Clearwater, Florida, at 9.805. So now I'm going to switch to the vertical, which I need to go back to the home and change the antenna. It's on B right now. can go to C, which is the vertical. And now watch the signal right here, the signal history. And since it's going slow, you can see back in here, all this back here was the loop. Now we're on the vertical. And there's a little, it went down a little bit on the peak of the signals, and the noise floor went up. So I can see now, at least based on this one sample, one frequency, that the loop antenna is working a little better than my vertical, which used to be my best. Now, when I say vertical, it's the 31-foot MFJ vertical antenna. So the peak of it, the tip of it, is 31 feet in the air. The top of the loop, or the loop antenna, is probably 15 to 20 feet in the air, much lower. I have seen and read and viewed that these loop antennas, the height is not as important as, say, a vertical antenna. Matter of fact, Mike from SDR Play, he tested actually 2 of them, and they were really close to the ground. They were like only 3 foot up in the 3 foot. They were only 6 foot up in the air, and he still got good performance. Mike is on the east coast of Florida. I'm on the west coast, and he had them. You can go watch his videos, and he had them just outside his apartment on the ground. Alrighty, so you know we're up here, and it's changing, of course. The signal level just in general is changing as over time. So let's go back. I'm going to switch back to the other antenna, and of course I'm on different connections on the SDR. I'm going to go back to the B. So now I'm back to B, and let's see what happened. So it jumped up there quite a bit. Well, you know, relatively, because we were down in this area down here, and now we're almost up to this 40 level, minus 40 dBm. So this is a pretty good tool for testing your antennas. Now, what you will need, of course, is an SDR or one of the radios that this SDR console supports. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you have anything you want me to test or try, please let me know. I'm trying to find things that you're interested in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.